Everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the second Monday of the month, which means it's time for Plant-Based Classics with Lauren Burnick. And February is around the corner, so we've got a lot of holidays like Valentine's Day, the Super Bowl, and she's going to be making some Super Bowl favorites so that you can have an absolutely awesome Super Bowl. She's going to be making a meaty Texas chili. What else are you making? Cornbread muffins and or cornbread and Austin queso, which sounds like a movie star, doesn't it? Welcome, welcome, Lauren, to the show. Lauren.
Hello.
Always good to see you. Yeah, that's amazing. Austin Queso. I think it sounds like an actor, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a cheesy actor. It does.
So I love it.
God.
I was gonna say, you're so funny and adorable. I just wish you'd come back to comedy because and I wish you could show what you've done because a lot of people think of you as a talented vegan chef who reversed her heart disease, makes delicious oil-free classic recipes, but they don't know necessarily your funny side.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why. I feel like I've just done that, and I wanted to see if I could do it. I did it. I did it for a long time, and I don't know. I just don't have the desire. You have to have some desire to get up on the stage in front of people like that, and just to keep writing material. It's a lot of work, but I don't know. Maybe one day. But I am starting a podcast, as I mentioned before. We should probably be releasing at the end of January or beginning of February, and I'll be able to use some more of my funny there.
Great. What's the
So,
name of your podcast and where will we be able to find it and when?
uh, I think the beginning of February, and it's called Age Like a Badass Mother. And
Right.
it's with Lisa Rice, and you can get it wherever you get podcasts. But I'll be promoting it when next time I'm on, I'll be able to tell you exactly where. But I feel like any place
Nice.
you get your podcast.
Well,
Um,
if it's called Badass, then you should probably have John Badass Vegan on because
who is who?
there's a wonderful vegan who I've had on the show. He's written books. He's very athletic. His name is John Badass Vegan. Well, his name is really John Lewis, but that's his brand, Badass Vegan.
Yeah, we have to have him on.
I even have a shirt that says Vegan Badass. I wear it sometimes. So
Oh, that's
I got it
awesome.
at a Veg Fest. Otherwise, I'd get one for you. But you know what? I'm going to look and see if they have it anywhere else.
You don't worry. I'll get it. You don't have to get me. But you're so sweet. Well, yeah, I want to have him on. That'll be good. Yeah, we were thinking we've so far only interviewed women, but we definitely want to have men on too, of course. I think we're gonna do Dr. Lederman just said he would come on from Forks Over Knives. So yeah. But we've had and you're gonna come on when you do your book, and John Mackey said he's gonna come on when he does his book in the spring. So
Wait,
we'll
John
have some
Mackey?
men.
John Mackey's writing another book?
Yeah. I
What's
guess
the
I
book
could say
about?
that.
Well, yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I think he said I ran into him at Casa de Luz and we started chatting, and that's I think he said it's going to be about capitalism, but I feel like he already had a book about that. But
Yeah, I think it was called Conscious Capitalism.
yeah, this one's like love, life, and capitalism or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying that. So
Okay, well, we're not
uh,
editing, so everyone forget what she just said.
just forget it. But
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure he doesn't care to have a little promotion for the book that hasn't come out yet. But yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about that. It'll be really fun. It uses, I don't have a lot of skills, but one of them is talking. So there you go.
Exactly.
Um, it's all talking, cooking. I don't know. That's about it. So yeah, what have you been up to? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, I know it was so great when you visited. What I've been up to, well, I had no idea they were going to already release my book. And so I've been up to trying to let people know that it's available. And thank you everyone who pre-ordered. It's been #1 in new releases, vegan cooking, gluten-free, and dessert baking. And it's 404 on Amazon, which is unbelievable for a book that doesn't come
Wow.
out for 8 months. So I'm just scrambling because we're going to create something that's a bonus that anybody that saves their receipt, it's virtual, so we can't deliver it yet. Most of it hasn't been created, but we're hoping that it's going to be valued at over $1,000 so that
Oh my
everybody
gosh.
want to get the book just even for the bonuses, because, I'm not getting any younger and I'd love to see what that's like to be a New York Times bestseller, because I never really worked with a publisher before. Because when you self-publish, you can do well on Amazon, but you can't be considered by them. So if anyone from the committee's watching, please consider me.
Yeah.
I don't
Is
know
that
how.
how they do it? I thought it was just by sales. New
I
York
think
Times.
I think it is overall by sales. By sales, they mean pre-sales. So anything from now until August 31st counts. But I think there's other, I don't know. It's like the Golden Globes I really don't know how it works. But hey, I'm going to give it a shot, right? I made a
Oh
vision
my
board.
gosh.
So if vision boards work, then it'll
They
happen.
work. I told you last time I made a vision board before I ever knew you. You're on my vision board and here I am.
It
They
happens.
work.
They do work. I've been doing vision boards on New Year's Eve for, I don't know, I was going to say over 25 years, because we don't go out on New Year's Eve. And vision boards I do relating to other things. It's not always just diet and exercise or health and weight loss. But I remember putting Dr. McDougall on my vision board because I really wanted to speak at his advanced study weekend, and boom. And then I put Dr. Goldhammer on the vision board because I wanted to work at True North, and boom. So I think they
Wow.
work too, because
They
what.
do work.
Yeah, I do. I think so. I mean, and they're basically free. You're cutting out magazines or Google Images. I mean,
Yeah,
a little, 49-cent poster board, some glue or scotch tape to manifest your destiny.
exactly. I still have one thing on there that hasn't come true yet. I'm just waiting. I have John and Tracy Stewart on my vision board that I'd like to work with them one day.
Well,
Do
I
you
mean,
know her?
I don't know them, but doesn't Rip know them? And Rip lives in Austin, so why not ask?
Yep.
The worst, when people are afraid to ask, it's like I had a business law teacher at the University of Pennsylvania. I don't remember anything from college, honestly, except this one sentence. Murray B. Dolphin said, "You don't ask, you don't get." Well, that's exactly how we talk, because the thing is if you don't ask, the answer is always no. But
Of course.
so
Yeah. I'm
ask him.
not
I
afraid to
mean,
ask. That's
yeah,
true.
and then maybe he'll be on your pod. You could ask to be on his podcast and he can promote your podcast. But he's the only person that I know offhand, because I think he had him
Yeah, he
interviewed,
had them on.
that I know that knows him. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They
That's a
always
good
say
idea.
6 degrees of separation, that you're always
Yeah,
or only 6 degrees, there's always somebody that knows somebody. So
that's really true.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good idea. So I got to get my vision board going.
Yeah.
Finish that one thing.
Guys, her
Spin off.
podcast, I don't know. Can people find it yet? Because Barb's saying she
No,
can't.
not yet.
Yeah, it's coming soon, Barb.
It's coming soon. We're just getting a bunch of them in the can, so to speak, and then we'll release them. But yeah, we've interviewed Jane and Ann Esselstyn and Dr. Alona Poolday and uh, some other people you probably haven't heard of, but it's going to be good. So I'll be excited to promote it next time. I'll be able to tell you where to get it. But thank you, and I will definitely be pre-ordering your book. I haven't done it yet, but I told you I got to see it in real life person because your photographer had it at her house, Hannah Kaminsky, and I went to her house and I saw it, and it was just spectacular,
Well, without
gorgeous,
Hannah
and
Kaminsky, it would just be a bunch of recipes. And without Janine Elder of Potato Wisdom, I mean, these ladies, they're so visually talented, like you would not believe. And they really are the heart of the book. I mean, I just provided the recipes.
well, that's a lot. That's
Right.
not nothing.
Right. But I mean, just a recipe, the way, if it was just some black and white book, because this is the thing, people want a photo with every recipe. They don't realize it's like $200 for each photo and there's 156 recipes, and guess who pays for it? But we finally just bit the bullet and we said, we're going to put everything into this book and try to give the people what they want.
That's right.
And they wanted lay
gorgeous.
flat, they wanted it to lay flat.
Yes.
We're going to do this. It has to be hardcover, which is actually, when we did the advanced reader copies, which were soft covers, hardcover is only $5 more. And it's much more durable, because I got the advanced reader copy slightly wet and the photo just separated from the back of the book. Hardcover wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah. Actually, one of the bonuses involves chefs other than me, and I'm going to talk to you about that, because the bonus that I'm creating is like, it's like worth I mean, I just wish I could talk. I have superstition sometimes, I'll tell
I
you.
get it. Okay, tell me privately. Text me after.
I'll text you. Anyway, so Super Bowl. Now, this is
Super
funny.
Bowl.
Little fact, I have never, this is AJ here telling the truth, never watched a Super Bowl in my entire life. Or
What?
I don't care for sports. I've never watched a single episode of the Olympics. I just don't like to watch sports. I've never seen anything. I've watched the commercials because I was actually in a Super Bowl commercial, the first commercial I ever did in 1985. Hadn't told my family I was trying to get into acting, and my brother dropped off his chair. He was at some bar watching, and he like fell off his bicycle. Quite funny. So yeah, just I'm not a sports person. But I've never been to a Super Bowl party, but I love the food because a lot of it's finger food or just food that everybody likes, whether they're vegan or not.
Yep. Same. I don't like watching sports. I am so irritated when the Olympics are on. My best friend, she's like, she cannot understand. She's like, why don't you like the Olympics? I'm like, I hate it. First of all, it interrupts whatever TV you're going to be watching. Not that that's really a thing anymore because you can watch shows anytime, but it just irritates me. I don't like it. Your shows aren't on. It disrupts the schedule. I don't really care. I mean, I get it. I get that these people have worked their whole life and put their, you know, everything into it. So I get that part. Sometimes I like the stories, but yeah, I don't like watching sports either. But my husband Andy loves sports. He's so irritated that nobody in our family, we have 3 kids, son-in-laws, the whole thing, nobody likes to watch sports. So,
Yeah. Well,
but I like the food.
I'm lucky that Charles doesn't because I don't have one of those husbands. But I like to watch movies about sports because one of the best movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen recently was The Boys in the Boat about the 1936 Olympics. And did Ann mention on the podcast that Essie just was so touched by that movie because he won the gold medal for rowing in the 1956 Olympics. So I like watching movies about sports. But again, I agree with you. The Olympics just drag on too long, too long for me.
Yeah.
But other people love them. So, good for them. But
Yeah.
they're just, I don't know.
I agree. I haven't seen that movie yet, but I want to see it. And I did know Dr. Eston won the gold medal for the rowing Olympics. He's he's
Um,
everything.
um, you know,
Surgeon in Vietnam. I mean, he's everything.
so guys, you're getting more information than cooking here, but at Chef AJ's movie picks, Godzilla Minus One of the best movies I've ever seen. It is not a horror film. It's a love story. I wouldn't be upset if it won Best Picture.
Wait, Godzilla minus one?
Yes.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, because it came out early in December. It was a Japanese film and it's amazing. It's so
Oh,
good. It's so good.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
put it on
Anyway.
my list.
All right.
Okay,
So
let me
Super
start.
Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Everybody thinks wangs and things and chili and that
Yep.
kind of thing. Nachos. Nachos are hard to serve for a crowd, though, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes you could just make a big thing of chili, but um, we usually have friends over here to watch the Super Bowl. It's like my husband's day. He wakes up and he's so excited. He starts like with the I don't even know, dun dun dun. I think that's like a football song. I don't know, for the Super Bowl, but he's just like beside himself, so excited. So we always have friends over, and I made this last year. There was only like 8 people. I doubled or tripled. I think I tripled this recipe, and I didn't tell anybody anything. Some of our friends knew it was vegan, oil free, but the ones that didn't were, I mean, just going back for more and more and more. And so, it's a winner, and it's super easy. So really all you do first is just chop up the onions, just an onion, usually a red pepper. This one was on the small side, so I also had a poblano in the fridge, so I cut that up as well. 4 cloves of garlic. That's the very basic. If you want to add more things to that, you can. I'm going to start sauteing the onions.
I
Okay, and
always
then
say this. I wish somebody would think, because I've had a lot of ideas that became businesses, somebody to think to just saute a bunch of onions like the way we do it with no oil and maybe even garlic. I would just buy it from the
I
freezer,
know, I
buy
know.
that in bulk. So it's a great idea because all of us would do that, I think.
For sure. Well, cheers. I also have my Texas beer here. You could definitely do this in just veggie broth, saute your onions. But for this recipe, I like a Texas beer. This is Crawford Bock. It's kind of a amber beer. I like a dark. I also usually like Shinerbach to saute my veggies in. But absolutely, you could do veggie broth. So let me get that a little bit hot, get my pan a little hot. And then I'm just going to put the onions in first to saute. So those are the basic vegetables, but you can totally add other vegetables. Like today, I'm going to put some mushrooms in because I had mushrooms that are going to go bad if I don't use them. I sometimes put up like some grated carrots or some really finely chopped cauliflower or a little bit of zucchini. You can put anything. You don't taste it in the chili, and then you just get some extra veggies. So that's the bonus. All right, let me put my onions in. I chopped everything in advance, so you didn't have to watch me chop.
Yep. And that's the other thing. I feel guilty, but I do often buy chopped onion because it doesn't make me cry as much as when and I have the Breville, and Kathy Hester did a private class with me and taught me how to use the Breville sous chef, which like chops an onion like in 3 seconds.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's an extra attachment that was, I think, about $100, but it just like if you want to make salsa, it's boom, boom, boom. Oh,
But
Lauren,
what does it go on? The Breville what?
it goes the Breville sous chef. It's the 16-cup food processor, which is an amazing appliance, you know?
Well, you know me. I still have my mom's old food processor from like 1985. It's gold. I've used it on this show before. The thing keeps going and going, but maybe when it poops out, or maybe I'll get it anyway. Because I mean, I do spend an inordinate amount of time chopping things.
What do you call her, Big Bertha?
I call her old gold. She's gold. Yeah, I mean, that thing keeps going. All right, I'm just going to wipe down my mushrooms. They're already chopped. I get them pre-chopped. Usually they don't have too much dirt on them, but I just give them a little wipe down. And I do like the pre-chopped ones. Just wipe the little dirt off, but I think a little dirt, probably not bad for you. Sometimes I give them a rough chop, but these aren't too big. They're pretty good size. I think I'll just chunk them in there. They'll be nice and meaty. Saute my onions for a little bit, and then I'm gonna make cornbread and I'm gonna make chili. You can make cornbread muffins. You could put them in a little muffin tin, but I'm just gonna make cornbread.
I love to do that, you know, and then
You like the muffins?
I do because it not because of portion control, it's just easier. You don't have to cut it and everybody can just crumble it on their chili, you know?
That's good. Maybe I'll do that for Super Bowl. I didn't even think about that. Do you make the full size muffins or a mini one?
I like the full size, the one in the silicone pan with has.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'll do that. All right. Now my onions are going. I'm just going to put the peppers in. God, this morning after I'll put my garlic in too. This morning after I chopped up that poblano, I touched my eyes. I had washed my hands a couple times. Then I touched my eyes and I was like, whew, mama, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Let that cook for a second. This is a super easy recipe and it goes really quickly. So let me talk about what makes it meaty. And then, of course, you're just going to keep an eye on it, see if it needs some more beer. So this is what makes it meaty. This is not something I use every day. It's not really a whole food. It's Upton Naturals, seitan, chorizo flavor. And this is what it looks like. It's like you crumble it up. But let me read the ingredients because it's not horrible. The only thing I don't like about this is that the soy doesn't seem to be organic. That bothers me. But the ingredients are water, vital wheat gluten, soy sauce, which is, I guess, the only soy in there. Apple cider vinegar, garlic, guajillo, oregano, sea salt, onion, cumin, black pepper. So it's not really horrible. I mean, it has vital wheat gluten, but that's not the worst thing in the world for you. So just make sure you get the chorizo flavor. It gives it a nice little something. But that's what's the meaty. Let me see if I can here. This is what it looks like when you crumble it up. It's just like a ground beefy kind of thing, but with a chorizo kick. So that's, you can make it without it, but I like it with. And I think that's the thing that like the meat eaters really like when, it has that little familiar texture and flavor. Okay, I'm going to dump these uh mushrooms in. Probably dumping the dirt right in with it. That was not the smartest thing.
Yeah,
Dumping my mushrooms in.
I can eat mushrooms in a chili because they don't look mushroomy, but I'm one of those people that just never liked mushrooms.
You don't like mushrooms?
No, I mean I'll eat them. I'm not that picky, but it's like if you give me a choice, I do like them air fried with pepperoni spice from local spicery, though. That is one way I do.
Ooh, that's a great idea. You have all the good ideas, Chef AJ. Yeah, that's a good one. From local spicery. Okay. Yeah, I liked their stuff. I think I got something at the when I came to see you.
You did get some.
I can't remember. Not the pepperoni though. What did I get? I have to look. Um, I have to look. Okay. So next thing, now the veggies are going. I'm gonna do the spices on top of the veggies once they cook down a little. Again, I just make it easy and I use this. It's just a spice packet, Simply Organic Spicy Chili. They have one that's not spicy too. It's just called vegetarian and it doesn't have bad ingredients. It's just all spices. Um, if you can't find something like that or you don't live near a Whole Foods, then you could just make your own. So you could do like 2 tablespoons of chili powder, half tablespoon of cumin, tablespoon of garlic powder, quarter teaspoon of cayenne pepper if you like a little spice, half a teaspoon of oregano, half a teaspoon of coriander, half a teaspoon of allspice, a quarter teaspoon of ground cloves, and salt and pepper to taste if you use salt and pepper or salt. But let me move my thing. I'm sorry, my second camera is still not working. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gina's saying kind of like the frozen roasted onions and pepper at Trader Joe's. Yes. The fire that would be exceptional.
Yeah.
Gina. Yes. I mean, and you know what? I remember when Trader Joe's was out of it for a long time, and I tried to like really find the company that made it because I'm not crazy about green pepper, but I still buy that. I wish maybe somebody's doing it and we don't know, but maybe there's an entrepreneur out there that will do it. Lauren, are you still hosting for PBNSG from time to time?
Yeah, I do. I host their just different doctors. And then tonight I host their heart disease support group meeting. So you have to be a member. I don't
Can you
even know how
ask
much it
them
costs.
if they want to have me back in conjunction with the book coming out, and I'll do like a
Yes.
them. Like it would have to be, and I'm in Rancho August 27th to 24th. So either the week after I get back or the week before, or if they pre-record, I can do it anytime, but that would be lovely.
I will ask them. I feel like they have their schedule done
Well,
like in advance, but they might have some openings.
well, just
I have the
tell
schedule,
them,
but I'll run it by them.
tell them number
But in
one,
August,
tell them number one, too bad, and they got to have me. I've had them on. So reciprocity.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet you, because normally they do it on Thursdays, but they can make a special one for you. That wouldn't be a problem. Yeah.
All right. You
Okay.
talk to the powers that be. And if anybody out
Oh,
there has a blog or a podcast, let me know.
okay. And if anybody knows a badass mother, don't contact me if you just want to be on for no reason. But like if you know somebody who's really aging well and they're doing like incredible things and they have some good advice for us, let me know. Lauren at wellelephant.com. Okay, so there's the vegetables, and now I'm just going to put my spice packet over it. I like to put the spice packet over the veggies or my spices, mix it in. But of course, you can email me if you just want to email me, chit chat. That's fine. I'm always okay with that. I likes the people. I like the people. Okay. So there's my veggies with the spice packet. And now I'm just going to put in my beans. I do 2 cans of beans. For this one, I did, what did I do? Kidney and pinto. You can do whatever kind of beans you want, but just 2 cans. or fresh, the equivalent.
Yeah,
I had
I
some.
agree. Beans are very interchangeable. We had a potluck yesterday and I made my black bean mushroom chili only to find out I had no black beans. And so I used 1 can of pinto, 1 can of kidney, and 1 can of garbanzo, and it was still delicious.
Yeah, they are interchangeable. I'm
I
putting
think
some more beer because it's sticking. Yeah, I think you could use whatever you want. I cooked up a bunch of black beans in my Instapot that you talked me into. And
oh,
I love cooking beans and it makes it so quick.
cute. You know, Dr. Goldhammer didn't have one, and if I gave his wife Jennifer one for a Christmas present, she was like really scared. And then now, you know, like everybody else, she loves it because you can make beans so quickly and inexpensively, you know?
Yeah. So I always cook up a huge pot of beans and I like to put that combo in it. Kombu. It's like a sea vegetable. It just gives it a lot of nutrients. And so I always have a big pot of beans. So I have black beans, but I like to save them because I eat bowls almost every day, like quinoa or brown rice and my beans and my greens and all my veggies. So I like to save that. Okay, now I'm just going to put in a big can of fire roasted, like what is this, 28 ounces? Yeah, 28 ounces of fire roasted tomatoes. And in addition, I'm going to do a small can of 15 ounce, 14 ounce, whatever can of fire roasted tomatoes.
I like the
And
roasted better.
oh, they're so good. And
They're
then I'm also,
on sale
gonna,
right now at
I
Whole Foods.
saw that.
I've
Who
got to
posted
get there.
that? Tammy?
Yeah, I hope there's some left, you know?
I know. I was just there. Maybe,
I was
I don't
there too,
know.
and then I saw the post and I had already left. I've been going there lately. It's not close to me, but have you tried the pacha bread yet?
No, they have it at Whole Foods?
Yeah, they don't
I
have the
thought you had to
flavor.
order it.
Well, you can, but they don't. They have the buns, they have the garlic, they have the original, and they have the cheesy garlic. But I want the sourdough rye because I got to avoid nutritional yeast. I keep trying to reintroduce it, and it gives me such violent stomach pains, and I love it.
Oh,
I just can't have it. So I really want the cheesy, not the cheesy, the garlic rye, but it's pretty good. I didn't eat bread, you know, for like 2012. Yeah, 12 years, but it doesn't seem to, well, at least I should say the pacha bread is not a trigger for me because it's like 2 ingredients, buckwheat and salt. And I'd rather have it without the salt, but it's not like I eat it every day. It's usually
it
with,
doesn't matter.
yeah, I mean, it's very small bread too. They're like really, one thing that's great is they finally started slicing it because it was a pain when you had to slice it yourself.
That's why they say the greatest thing since sliced bread.
That's
Every
right.
time
I love it. And that is true because who wants to slice their own bread? So
yeah, my husband gets it sometimes like a big bowl boule or whatever of bread and it's not sliced. And he's like, this is the worst. I'm like, that's why they have the saying. Yeah. So they have it sliced now and you can just get it at Whole Foods.
yeah, it's in the freezer section and it is costly.
Oh, okay.
It's not a cheap bread. It's I think $10 a loaf. So, but you know,
Okay.
it works for me from time
Yeah,
to
if you use it sparingly. Yeah. I know not everybody can do that. It's very expensive, but
yeah,
that's
it's
nice. It's nice to have on hand if you can to use on special occasions.
maybe
Um,
they'll come up with a salt-free one, but you know, or you know, you can always make your own, but again, like, who
I
is
know.
this person that makes all their own stuff?
It's
You,
hard.
you know, I had posted in the chat that are you guys like love Super Bowl? Karen said she has been watching the Super Bowl since the very first one, Kansas City versus Green Bay. I don't even know when it
Dang. It's
started.
been like about 50 years. I think they just had the 50th anniversary maybe last year or so. Yeah, apparently I do watch the Super Bowl every year. Like we even go to Vegas sometimes to go to big Super Bowl parties and it's a big deal at my house. Okay, so I put in 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and like a tablespoon of maple syrup while we were chatting. And now it's just I think that's it. That's all the ingredients. It's just going to cook down now. It's just going to simmer a little bit. Let me bring it to a boil. But looks. Oh, I didn't put in my secret ingredient. I always forget something. You know me. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my crumbles.
You know, my chat goes so fast because we have such a lively Zoomunity here. So if
Yes.
you're watching on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, you can't see what I'm talking about. That goes really fast because these all people know each other for years. But I saw a post, and I hope the person will do it again. I guess they're newly vegan. They were looking for some ideas for dinner. So they mentioned something about Indian food. I saw it. It disappeared. So please post again. Thank you so much for your understanding. Oh, Dixie, can you text me that information? Dixie says you can call Whole Foods and order a whole case because these are like half price now because they're like $3 a can and like now they're $1.30.
I know. Oh my God, you
Well, that's what Dixie's saying. And she's not just whistling Dixie.
can't? Oh, we're cracking ourselves up. Okay, so now you can see it looks a little more meaty now. It has the meaty stuff in it, and it's kind of boily. So I'm going to turn it down. Yeah, this looks like the real deal, right? I mean, you might not have those big mushrooms in a big pot of chili, but it also gives it a meaty texture. All right, so that's going, and I'm just going to turn it down to a simmer now and cover it. Just let it heat through, but honestly, it doesn't have to cook for very long at all. This is pretty much good to go.
When I was little, my mom would always tell me to simmer down. And it's like, I'm not soup.
Simmer down. My husband tells me, simmer
Yeah.
down, woman. Um, yeah, it gonna simmer now. Simmer down. I was gonna say something about it. Oh yeah, it just needs to cook for a few minutes, but it's pretty much done. I mean, you could probably eat it just the way it is. I think next I'm gonna make the cornbread, and that's really easy too. Let me get a bowl. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna talk about the leftover tomato paste. This is such a pain. Like, you always have tomato paste left over. So I kind of just scoop them out in like tablespoons and I put them in a container and I freeze them. I put little like parchment paper in between the tablespoons. And then if I need a tablespoon of tomato paste, I don't have to open up a whole new can and waste a can. I just pull one out of the freezer. So that's a little tip. Little tip.
I do the same thing and I freeze them in 4 tablespoon little things because that seems, at least the recipes that I use, they always call for 4 tablespoons.
Oh, 4 tablespoons. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
I just
I'm believe it or not, I mostly make my own recipes because I know them usually, you know.
exactly.
Like
I know.
my red lentil chili calls for 4 tablespoons, and a can of tomato paste is 8 tablespoons. So that's how I do it.
Ah, so it's
Okay,
just, I didn't even know it was 8 tablespoons. I didn't realize that.
I think a small can is, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you know. I am sure you know, Chef AJ. Okay, so onto the cornbread. Um, I like to use organic when I'm doing corn and soy because otherwise it's genetically modified. So I've talked about that before on your show, which the thing about the the thing about genetically modified foods is made to withstand um they're made to withstand being sprayed with a lot of herbicides and pesticides. That's their main purpose in life. So that's why I don't like that. But do with that information what you will. But I'm going to start with a cup of cornmeal. I always put my little cup thing in the bowl because I'm famous for just spilling everywhere.
Do you
Okay.
care about the grind? Because I notice that sometimes in the store, it'll often say medium grind.
Yeah, I think that's what this says, medium grind. You know, I don't the medium grind is fine. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't taste like gritty or anything. So what's the other one? Fine, I guess would be. I've never really seen anything but medium. But yeah, the medium is good. Doesn't come out real gritty. And then a cup of flour of your choice. I like oat flour. You can do if you some kind of gluten-free flour, and then this would be gluten-free. Um, so you can do almond flour or spelt or sorghum or whatever, buckwheat, any kind of flour you want, white whole wheat, but I like oat. gonna call that a cup. And this is easy because it's really just like a one bowl kind of thing. And then you need a tablespoon of baking powder.
Well, you use a whole tablespoon. Yeah, I think I use 2 teaspoons. No, I think you use a whole tablespoon. Wow, I think I only
Uh-huh.
use I so what would be the benefit of that? Because I'm only using a teaspoon. Would that make it like more rising?
I think so because it's pretty flat when it goes into the pan. Um, and then it does rise up a good amount. But, you know, yeah, I use a whole tablespoon of it. I usually don't, you're right. But yeah, it's pretty flat when it goes in. So it rises up a good amount. And then I use a quarter cup of applesauce. So these little cups, this is just unsweetened, is a half cup. So here's I used half of it last night when I made a batch up already. So that's just the leftovers, a quarter cup, and um, about a quarter cup of maple syrup, quarter to a third cup, depending how sweet you like it. But I'm good with just a quarter cup. That's it. Super, super easy. Is
You
that
know,
it? Oh, no, it's not. I left an ingredient out, of
what's
course.
interesting is I use date syrup because that's all I have and that's all I eat. But because it's so dark and maple syrup, even though it's a little bit amber, is translucent, my cornbread comes out like dark, like almost like chocolate in a way. But some people, the visual kind of freaks them out a little bit. So Tammy Kramer said that what I could do is just blend dates with water, but I do like the ease of using like a syrup, you know?
You know what? That's exactly, I didn't say that, but when I make it just for myself, I use date syrup, but it comes out dark. But in my recipes, I put maple syrup because I don't think people want to see dark looking cornbread. It makes them like, what is this? Okay, I left out an ingredient. That's my signature move. So a cup of plant milk. I either do oat or almond, 1 cup, and that's it. You just give it a good stir. And you don't even have to put parchment paper I use a glass pan, like either an 8x8 or a round pan, and you don't have to put parchment paper. You don't have to grease it up in any way. It doesn't stick. So that's it. Easy, easy. Nothing fancy. Cooks up really quickly. And then you just cook it at 400 degrees for like 13 to 15 minutes. And you just want to do the usual thing where you put like a little butter knife in and see if it pulls out clean, or a toothpick, or I even like to pull it out right before when it still has a tiny bit on it. I don't like to overcook it. Then it's all dry and yuck.
Yeah, I mix mine in the blender, you know. Marie says can you talk about an episode where somebody made sienna? I'm not sure. Sienna. I don't
I
know
don't
what
know what that is.
sienna. What could that be?
Sienna. Is it a spice? Must be a dish. Uh, is it something I made?
I don't know. Okay, I'm looking through the comments to try to find the one about the person that needed some dinner recipes. I hope she'll post again. It goes so fast. Uh, so Karen said the Super Bowl didn't used to be called the Super Bowl. What was it called?
What was it called?
Yeah. Yeah. I still have to use date syrup, I thought. I feel like it's full of sugar, even if it's natural. I wonder if it's more than maple. So here's what I say. You know, the American Heart Association, the American Cancer Society says we have no requirement for any kind of processed or refined sugars. And if we eat them, it should be no more than 5% of their calories. So I don't think it much matters, although I would not have people use any kind of fake sweetener like erythritol, xylitol, mannitol, stevia, because those are just terrible tasting.
Yeah.
They're not good in recipes. And also I hosted 50 doctors in the GI Health Summit, and they all agree it's terrible for your microbiome. So use whichever one you like that you'll use the least of, but I wouldn't recommend agave because it's higher in fructose than high fructose corn syrup. I like date syrup because I can make date syrup in my own kitchen, and I have. And before I Love Date Lady came out with a affordable organic product, I made my own date syrup for years, but I ain't doing it anymore because now I can just go up the street to Walmart, which is open till midnight, and get me some dates. But often, because it's actually most of the time I order it from I Love Date Lady with the Chef AJ.
Hmm.
So I like it, and it doesn't bother me that. But I know what you mean. But like, it doesn't bother the people that eat them that it's dark. But I hear you. People are very the way they are with how things look. But I do like my dark cornbread muffins.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit. But like when I'm making it for Super Bowl party, I'm just going to have it look like this. So I just am pouring it into a round because, and I'm going to pop that one in the oven. Here's the one I made last night with a big chunk missing out because my husband tore into it. But it's good. I'll tear off a piece and I'll show you. But yeah, let me cook this one. I'll be good on cornbread. I'll do it when I put my chili in a bowl. But that's what it comes out looking like without,
It
normally it
looks
doesn't have the
just like
piece.
cornbread, the way it has those
Just
little
like cornbread.
top. It's exactly what cornbread looks like.
Yep. And now I'm just going to make the queso. And this is also super fast. So, I mean, this would be a great meal for dinner. And for the person who is asking, I think, we've talked about this before. Anybody who sticks to this way of eating for any amount of time eats the same thing a lot. And we've talked about that. Like we all eat a lot of salads and a lot of bowls. And as a matter of fact, look at this. Wait. This is just my washed lettuce. This won't even last. I don't know. I go through so much
Wow.
just greens. Yeah, I buy it, I wash it. That'll make like, oh, it depends. Couple, two, three salads maybe. Um, I just wash all my stuff ahead of time. But I cook up a big pot of beans, like I just talked about in my Instapot. I always have a big thing of beans, or you could just do cans, and then I cook up a big thing of quinoa or brown rice. I always have a lot of greens and broccoli and cauliflower and all kinds of vegetables that I could steam at the last minute. Some tempeh or some tofu that I just cover in a little Bragg's liquid amino or some coconut aminos, chop it up, cook it in the air fryer, toss it in the aminos, cook it in the air fryer. You don't have to do that. Sometimes I do a little sweet potato, just little pieces of it, put that in a bowl, and you have a bowl. And then you can do different sauces. I have on my website, I give away a free cookbook. It has lots of sauces in it. Wellelephant.com if you want to go and look at the free recipes. I have recipes on my website and I have the free cookbook. So, there's always lots of easy meals, but that's an easy meal that you can have and you just change it up by different beans, different grain, different sauce. So you're eating sort of a variety, but not, you're not making it overly complicated. It just makes it easy to stick to. Okay. Now, for the queso. All right, we're going to do, I got to wash out my measuring cup. All right. Okay. Going to do a cup of nutritional yeast. So this would kill Chef AJ.
I love it. I find like, for instance, when I made Nora Cook's gravy for Thanksgiving and the whole thing had 3 tablespoons, it was fine. But when I try to eat the queso or other recipes, and believe me, I want to eat it. People think I'm being so difficult with my food allergies like beans and such. I want to eat these foods, but having like 36 hours of stomach cramps is no fun.
Oh, no, that's terrible. Yeah, no, you don't need to do that. I'm just getting a cup of water out of my refrigerator. Cup of water. So it's a cup of nutritional yeast, a cup of water. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
We have a smart audience. Janet says it was originally called AFL NFL World Championship Game. Very
Wow.
nice. Yeah.
You have a smart audience.
A nice audience. People say they want back on the show, like people like Eileen Kapsaftis and Dr. Rachel Rubin, and they say, you have the nicest audience. Yep.
You really do. Honestly, they're so, I love the way that they talk to each other and, they've made a real community, but they're so also kind to the guests, and I appreciate it because, first when you come on, it's nerve-wracking.
Except when the guest isn't vegan. No, just kidding. I'm kidding. Some, sometimes though, anyway.
Okay, so I'm just whisking up the nutritional yeast and water, and then like a tablespoon of flour just to thicken it. And I'll tell you the truth, a lot of times I leave this out, but I'll put it in this time. That was probably a half tablespoon. Just whisk that in. And then I'll eyeball this. A cup of salsa. I just buy this giant salsa. That was lovely. Okay. Whisk that in, about a cup. Turns it licking salsa. And then jalapenos. I love just like the pickled jalapenos. Yum. Oh, like a quarter to half a cup, depending how spicy you like it. And then I put some spices in there. And honestly, I don't always put the spices either. Sometimes it's good just with the salsa. Let's see. What spices do I put in there? Some garlic powder, some chili powder. That's really it. I'll put a little bit of that garlic and chili powder. Let's see. A little garlic powder, a little chili powder. Not gonna put much. There, last year in the bundle, Lisa and I had a cookbook called I Don't Cook, I Cook a Little, just for people who don't want to make big meals, or don't have time or feel intimidated by cooking. And it's for sale on my website. It's $6.95. And it has a lot of easy, just assemble meals too, if that person's interested in something like that, that was asking. But also we have another queso recipe in there. It's Lisa's recipe. It's so good. It's for people like Chef AJ who couldn't eat nutritional yeast. Oh, it does have nutritional yeast, but I think you could leave it out of that one because it's mostly like cashews and red peppers, and it makes like a raw cashew queso. So that's in the cookbook. I don't cook, I cook a little. Okay, and then that's it. I'm just going to simmer this on the stove for a little bit, and that's really the whole meal. I'm just going to assemble it in a bowl in a sec.
It's funny because I actually created a nutritional yeast-free queso a long time ago for people that had this, and it's delicious. It's called One Sauce, and I could make that, but again, I'm lazy because it involves cutting stuff up and cooking it. I mean,
What's in it?
Oh gosh, I'll pull it up. It's really good. I'm going to pull it up and tell you. It's actually really good. Maybe somebody could just like bulk make it for me.
Oh my gosh.
Find that for you because I did this a while back, even before I was reacting to it. So let's see what we got here. Okay.
I'll be interested to see what you did, Chef AJ.
Let me tell you, One Sauce. Yeah, this one had a lot of views. So what is in it? Okay. What? It's not posted? The recipe's posted. Maybe I just didn't put it in the show notes. It's got to be in one of my books, right?
I'm sure.
Okay, let's see. That's the problem when you have more than one book to try to remember which book it's in.
You know what? When I'm looking for your recipes, I have to go to a couple of your books.
No, I think it's in these people that write like, 20 million books. How do they even know? Okay.
I don't know.
I think it's in Own Your Health. So let me look.
Oh, I love that book. That's such a good book. It's so I loved the stories of your lives, you and Glenn.
Thank you.
That's
Glenn has been helping me with every book. I always joke that I've always been able to write books without Glenn, but I've never been able to finish them because I've always tried to do it on my own. But I'm not a natural writer like you. I'm a natural talker.
I'm a talker.
Talking is easier than typing. Okay, where are you?
He's so funny. I remember one line out of that book where I mean, that's how good it is that I remember like an actual line that I think it was his parents. His mother said, like, I think they were really unhappy, but his mother's like, I can't get divorced. I just bought a new couch or I just bought new furniture. I was like, oh my God, hilarious.
I found one sauce on page 180 of Own Your Health, and it's made out of cauliflower, orange bell pepper, carrots, onion, garlic, lemon juice, smoked paprika, Benton's table tasting, and chipotle. And it does taste like cheese sauce. And I'm gonna actually put a little piece of paper here and maybe try it sometime. Again,
Oh, wow. Yum.
but still, it tastes like cheese sauce, but it's not. I still need a sub for the powdered nutritional yeast for when recipes call for them, you know?
Yeah. That's a tough one. There, I know.
Yeah,
Nutritional
that's
yeast is a lifesaver in a lot of recipes. All right, let me move this over here so you can see the cheese sauce bubbling up. Whoops. Sorry, I'll have my thing fixed next time. You can see it's all getting nice and bubbly and cheesy. And then I'm just gonna, ooh, this chili smells so good. Okay, I think it's time to eat. Let me get a bowl. Just in time for lunch.
Gina says, where do we get the cookbook? I don't cook. I cook a little. Well, if you bought the bundle last year, you'd have it already for free, but I believe it's on Lauren's website, right?
Yep, it's under shop on my website.
You know, it's really interesting how many people I'm hearing from in the chat that cannot tolerate nutritional yeast either. And I know that even though a lot of the doctors are in love with it, Dr. Goldhammer has always said no bueno, and especially for people with gut issues, which I have. So I wonder what it is that
What
makes.
is it?
I wish I knew, especially when people have Crohn's disease, is my understanding, don't have,
Yes,
but
yes.
it's just,
My cousin has Crohn's and she cannot eat nutritional yeast.
my uncle who was a doctor who raised me, he used to say, everything I like is either illegal, immoral, or fattening. And I want to say everything I like gives me a stomach ache.
Oh,
I mean, since I've just always had, this is way before the microbiome was discovered, and I just have a sensitive gut. What can I tell you, you know?
yeah. You know what? I have a not sensitive gut. I think I've said before, oh, I didn't make this look very pretty. Um, that my mother used to give us leftovers that were like 2 weeks old. And I think I built up my gut. I am like cast iron. Somebody as a gift bought me a food sensitivity test. And I was like, I know I don't have any food sensitivity. Like I could eat anything, nothing bothers me. And sure enough, I took the sensitivity test and like nothing bothered
You're
me.
lucky, cast iron stomach.
Cast iron stomach. And there's the chili with the queso on it and some cornbread. That's what it looks like for your little Super Bowl meal. I didn't make it look, I should have put it in a different bowl. I did not look, I'm going to change the bowl. I don't like the way that looks.
That's amazing. And how about some chips on the side?
Yes, that's the thing. Yes, some chips. I don't like chips in my chili, but I do have them. Like I make them up ahead of time, where I just bake up the organic corn tortillas. I keep them in this. You can put them on. Let me transfer my bowl. I don't like the way it looks in this bowl. I'm very like the aesthetic. Okay. Do that. Put some more queso on top. And you don't have to put queso on this. If you eat avocado, you could put avocado. You could do, plant-based sour cream. That's not necessarily a whole food. I don't do that, but you could. You could tear up some chips on top, some more pickled jalapenos,
Yeah,
and then your cornbread. I like the way that looks better.
I see jalapenos in the store in jars. I have not seen pickled jalapenos. Who is the brand that you use?
This is Hatch organic. They're called nacho sliced jalapenos, but they're really good. Trader Joe's has some really good ones, but they have sugar in them. So I don't buy them. I'll buy them like when I have my Super Bowl party because people love them, but they're sweet and spicy and they're delicious. But I don't eat them on the reg because, of the sugar. But those are yummy from Trader Joe's. And that's it. That's your meal.
Yeah. Yeah, she said, these people, I didn't mean anything by that. But I don't mind a little bit of salt that are in condiments like the jalapenos. But I would prefer salt
No,
Like if I'm going to choose, I'd rather have a little bit of salt in something than a little bit of sugar, but that's just me.
Hmm.
That's
I
amazing.
agree. Oh, this is so good. Seriously.
Oh my,
I wish you guys could taste it.
I could too. So
Mm.
next, oh, and guys, when you give Lauren a challenge, she tries to make what you want in plant-based classics. Like she did a French onion soup that was phenomenal, and she did something that I had never heard of. Like it had the word king in it. I never heard of that.
King
What?
King Ranch casserole, King Ranch chicken casserole. I made it with soy curls. That's a good one. That's something if you're from Texas, even though I know I don't sound like I'm from Texas, I've lived here most of my life. But born in New York and then moved to Texas when I was 10. And so I grew up eating King Ranch chicken casserole. That's something like if somebody died, you bring it to their house, or somebody had a baby, that was the casserole you'd bring around. And so I made that. That one's really good. That's on my website, just free, right on the website. You should try that.
Well,
So yeah, if you have a challenge.
that is amazing. Well, Lauren, thank you. You'll be coming back before Easter, before Passover, before Mother's Day. So lots of holidays for you to
Yep.
make delicious recipes for.
Yep. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 2 p.m. Pacific time today when my guest is Tracy Garrigan from the Food Revolution Network. She ditched 8 medicines by doing the diet that we've been recommending for you a long time. And she even created a plant-based coaching certification program that some of you might be interested in. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.